Okay, this evening on Triple J, 9 Inch Nails there with Echoplex from the album of last year, The Slip. As I said before, 9 Inch Nails in the country at the moment, headlining the Soundwave Festival, and direct from the site, Eastern Creek Raceway, which is where it's happening in Sydney today. I've got Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails with us right now. Hey Trent, good to see you.
Hello. Good to be here.
I'm imagining what you look like. Of course, I can't actually see you at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't know this wasn't in person. I wouldn't have spent the last hour in makeup, and I'm really dressed up here.
Well, I'm flattered that you went to so much trouble anyway. We've got to talk about the future of 9 Inch Nails. We'll get to that in just a moment. But how was the first Soundwave in Brisbane last night? How was the show?
It was very hot. It was fun. You know, it was a fun show. Well, it wasn't really a fun show to play. It was a pretty cool festival, but it was miserably, oppressively hot, and we all were looking at each other about the third song, like we were all about to pass out. So aside from that, I think it went pretty well.
And what about the sort of the stripped down 4-piece lineup? How did that feel?
It's interesting for us. You know, we're just coming off of better part of a year of touring the States with a production that we're very proud of as a 5-piece band. But the side effect of that was, because we had such an elaborate production, we had a pretty rigid set list. We had to do the same thing almost every night, and it became kind of theater. And the spontaneity of being on stage really got put in the back burner, and it became doing the same thing over and over again. So we decided if we're going to play any shows this year, which we obviously are, we wanted to break it up and make it something that was more about the music and playing and being in the moment. And as we wound up as a 4-piece with me and the other guys kind of splitting keyboard duties, it's really made us have to think a lot more, and there's a lot, nothing's on autopilot. So it's a fun, we're in the moment, and it's a fun thing for us to play now.
Does it sound very different?
We kind of got rid of some of the bloat. You know, we went back and readdressed the arrangements of things and just stripped it down to the only what needed to be there. So I don't think it sounds radically different. I mean, our new drummer, Ilan, is excellent. He brings a different feel to things, but it's been liberating for us. It hasn't been easy to make the transition in a short amount of time, but it's working out well.
Yeah, well, with that big tour that you talked about of last year, Lights in the Sky tour, when you were putting it together, didn't you kind of realize that it was going to lock you into a certain pattern of performance?
We did, but when you're planning it out and trying to pull off that kind of spectacle, I mean, I know there's a trade-off, and it seemed worth it. And in hindsight, I think it was worth it, but I didn't expect it to be kind of as you know, it got to be a bit tedious by the end of it, really, performing it, because it was literally like being in a play almost. Just the same thing every night. It was fun to play, but a lot of what, as I've grown more comfortable with myself, a lot of what I find exciting about it is the chance for things to go wrong and things to turn into new experiences, and it didn't have much of that. So this has been a breath of fresh air for us.
Yeah, and was Brisbane last night the first time that you'd kind of done the show in this way, in this fashion now?
We played one show before this in New Zealand, a couple of days before.
Yeah, right, okay. Alrighty, now let's talk about the future, because obviously there was an interesting post on nin.com earlier this week about the future of the group. So what's going on?
Well, I just feel like it's at the point in the lifespan of 9 Inch Nails to, as a touring entity, go away for a while. You know, I think we've toured and toured and toured the last few years since I came back on the scene, really. And with Teeth, we've kind of been on tour the whole time. And I'm feeling the repercussions of that in my life outside of 9 Inch Nails. And I feel like pages of the calendar are just disappearing. And I want to treat any time I would do touring in the future past this as something I really want to do and something to be cherished. And right now it's kind of, you know, it's gotten to the point where I think my time would best be spent as a human being working on music, obviously, because I really can't not do that, but not with this endless cycle of just keep going out. I need to kind of get centered again and become sane, I think.
It was funny, when the post went up, there was so much speculation that went around. You obviously would have tapped into some of it. Basically, you know, it was the death knell of the band. The band is over. But from what you've just said, you're just going to strip it back and sort of pick and choose what you want to do.
Well, I just kind of feel like it's time for... there's been a growing list of things I'd like to work on outside of 9 Inch Nails. You know, some of the music, some of them not. that, the list is getting bigger, but I haven't started even working at it yet. So I want to just try some things, and that might send me immediately back to working on Nine Inch Nails, or it might lead off on a different path. But it feels at this point in my life I need to explore some of those things. It's not really to take a vacation. I don't know that I even know how to do that, take time off, but I just want to focus on some things other than the relentless kind of grind of Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, can you give us some sort of an idea without sort of pinning yourself down to, having lived up to it? But what sort of things outside of music would you like to pursue?
Well, I've made the mistake of blabbing about things I'm excited about before they become real, and then they don't become real and you feel stupid about it. But, like we talked about expanding Year Zero into a television series and a narrative. There's a few things that have branched off from that world that need some attention. Things that really just interest me at this point in my life that I want to try my hand at and see. Even getting back to playing piano, for example. Not that that's going to change the world, but it could make me feel a little better about myself when I wake up in the morning.
With the TV production then, so you mean actually script writing and doing stuff like that, directing?
Attempting to turn that into what I envision it to be. And I doubt my role in that would be directing, because more of a showrunnery kind of oversight created by scenario in that particular example. But that's not necessarily the main focus. I'm not by any means saying I'm stopping Nine Inch Nails to write TV shows. That's not what this is. This really is just a matter of, we've been at this pretty nonstop for quite some time, and I mentally need a break, and I want to really treat this as something that never feels like a job or an obligation. It's something that's a passion, and I think that the art would be served better by me stepping back from it for a minute.
Yeah.
See what that means.
Well, the last few years have been really productive and you've been very prolific as Nine Inch Nails, whereas, the decade before that, say, the decade before 2005, it wasn't.